I'm the Oregonians' John Canzano. I'm at Autzen Stadium with Ken Go. Epic game today, 37-33, Oregon victory. They go to the Rose Bowl. What were you most impressed by?
Well, I was impressed by the way that both teams played. I mean, no quarter after given, back and forth, big plays offensively, and actually there were some big defensive plays. I think that maybe the turning point in the game was early when Oregon State had those chances to put Oregon away and settle for field goals. If they get way up, I think maybe they take the Ducks out of what they like to do with the option game and force Masoli to throw a little more. And then, I think maybe the Beavers win, but that didn't happen. They kicked field goals, and they didn't have enough at the end to hold off Oregon's offense.
I loved it because there was so much build-up and talk about this game, and we all spent all week saying this is going to be epic, and it was. It was great. I mean, and both these coaches love their offenses. They wanted their offenses on the field. They went for it on fourth downs, which I don't think you see Mike Riley go on 4th and 1 early in a game if he doesn't have that much confidence in his offense. And 4th and long with 6 minutes to go in the game. And then Chip Kelly at the end, he just evaporated the last 6 minutes of the game with his offense. And Jeremiah Masoli looked terrific. LaMichael James. I think Ohio State is in trouble in the Rose Bowl. I think either one of those teams would have beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what about James Rogers? God, how many catches did he make? Big catches and catches when he was covered. And he just... he's not tall, but he is a big-time player.
And I think, Oregon State, I think the real shame is going to be they may fall as low as the Vegas Bowl. Is there something wrong with that?
Well, I think there's something wrong with the whole bowl system, but actually playing BYU in the Vegas Bowl, if that's what happens, I think that'll be a real good game and a chance maybe for Oregon State to win and go into next season with some momentum. So given the fact the bowl system is a terrible system, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad draw for them. I've been to the Emerald Bowl, for instance, and it wouldn't bother me if I never go back there.
At the end of the game, I went down to the field, and it was really cool because T.J. Ward was peeling his gloves off, giving them to a fan, and you had players that were posing for pictures and saying Rose Bowl, and fans were jumping around, and I found Mike Riley on the goal line, and he was just standing there and watching what was going on in the field, and I thought he's watching the celebration. Then I realized he was waiting for Chip Kelly. He wanted to shake his hand, and I thought that was really cool. You see Bill Belichick and a lot of other coaches who just run off and say, okay, we'll wave it off, that guy's celebrating, but he waited, and Chip Kelly, to his credit, was soaking wet with Gatorade, found his way through all those people to Mike Riley before he went to the bowl committee, before he went to ESPN to talk to the national television audience. He went to Mike Riley, and they had a minute at the goal line where they just shook hands. And that was Mike Riley versus Chip Kelly 1. I can't wait for the next matchup of those guys.
Well, I hope we continue to have them. That's one thing I wonder. These coaches have done a heck of a job, you're right. Their offenses were great. The teams played with pride and poise in the game. Somebody is going to come after those guys. And I know Mike has left before and come back and said he's never going to leave again. But if somebody comes in and starts talking multi-million dollars, the kind of dollars that Oregon State can't afford to pay, or if somebody from the East Coast, where Chip Kelly's from, comes in and offers him a chance to go back there and coach, I wonder if, maybe they don't take that, and then it's going to be interesting to see what happens to these two programs.
Yeah, I think Mike Riley's a forever guy. I think he learned his lesson with the NFL, and he said this last week, this is my forever job. He painted the stadium as a kid. I mean, there's too much connection, but I think Chip Kelly, to me, he feels like a right now guy. He's at Oregon. I think it's maybe a 4 or 5 year deal where he's at Oregon, and then he starts to think. But certainly getting to a Rose Bowl in year 1, pretty special for him. Pretty cool to see the start to finish. LeGarrette Blount came into the game. Did you feel like the game changed when LeGarrette Blount came in?
A little bit. The crowd really got into it, and he just gives them a different dimension. I mean, LaMichael James has got that, shimmy and quick burst. Yeah, I wish I was that athletic. But LeBlount's a hammer. And LeGarrette Blount, and when he comes in, he gives that offense a whole different dimension. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought Oregon State was doing a pretty good job handling Oregon to that point. In the third quarter, Oregon had 2 drives, both touchdowns. One was a LeGarrette Blount touchdown. I kind of felt the Oregon State defense at that point go, oh man, like, okay, we just withstood and adjusted to this. Now here comes something else. And that third quarter, I thought, was epic. He had 2 Oregon drives for touchdowns. Oregon State had 3 drives, had a touchdown, a field goal, and a punt at the end of the third quarter. And that third quarter, I thought, was where the game was won or lost. Oregon sort of got momentum there and never gave it back.
Don't you think Blount makes LaMichael James better, too? Because Blunt comes in for a few plays and hammers them, and all of a sudden you got LaMichael James back there with the the quick burst. And I think the combination is going to be real difficult for Ohio State to deal with.
Yeah, and look, Terrell Pryor at Ohio State had a chance to come visit Eugene. Eugene's coming to him on January 1, so I think that'll be cool to see.
And from what I've seen of Pryor, I actually think Oregon's got a better quarterback.